Coach, first few questions are for you, and we'll start with your team won 9 games last year and capped the 2023 season with a bowl win over the United States Merchant Marine Academy. What are your reflections from last season and finishing the year with a home win?
It wasn't good enough. I think anyone that's part of our program will say that. And I love what Coach Debs just said, because we got to get better, because no one's going to come back to us. I mean, I've had teams at W&J that have won NCAA playoff games, and last year's team was better than that team. So it shows you the strength of the league. So, you know, we all, as coaches, we're always going out and trying to study the game of football and things like that. And obviously, we have some connections at W&J. We get to go to Philadelphia and things like that. And I was thinking about that this year. I'm like, wait a second. My 2 tackles do not look like Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. Our quarterback is not built like Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. We don't got anyone that looks like that. So what we did as a staff is I looked at these guys out here to see what the common denominator was of these teams that have beaten us and that have won conference championships. And if you look at them, it's just a toughness. I mean, if you start off with Coach Benzel when he got to Westminster, the toughness that he brought to that team was super impressive. Then you look at it, the guys just, when you watch Case play, you can tell that those guys just want to play so hard for Coach Debs, that they have so much respect for him, that they want to play so hard for him. And then you look at Grove City and you look at, seriously, Ben Blado, probably the best player that we've ever had in our conference in the last 20 years on the defensive side. What's his common denominator? He's the toughest kid on the field every play. And then you look at Carnegie Mellon and Coach Larson, really, Coach Gibney, how he gets the defensive coordinator at Carnegie Mellon, how he gets those 11 players to play so hard every single snap is absolutely unbelievable. You could watch any college football game on Saturday afternoon, and you're not going to see 11 guys on defense play harder than those guys do at Carnegie Mellon. So that's really kind of what we focused on, is that toughness and how we can get that and get back to winning conference championships.
You boast a lot of returning experience with 10 starters back on offense and 8 on defense. Talk about how you will look to use the excess of returners as a springboard for, and how you were able to build momentum in the offseason as you head into 2024.
Everyone in this conference has everyone back. If you seriously look at all the preseason prospects, everyone has everyone back. So what does that mean? I mean, we're going to have to do something different. We're going to have to do something better. I talked about the toughness. The other thing, he don't play. I saw him play basketball. He's not good, but great football player. But we talked about the Jordan mentality. And I know I see Ryan with his Jordan shirt on, but you didn't name one of your daughters Jordan. I did. So that's what we talked about, that mentality that, we're going to do everything that we can to win. Okay, and we're going to take everything personal. I obviously have friends in here that are our coaching colleagues that I'm friends with, all of them, and they're great men. But when we play on Saturday afternoon, we're going to take everything personal. And will we win more games than that? I don't know. I mean, we could go. The league is so strong, we can go 0-10. But we're going to have that mentality that we're going to take everything personal, and we're going to compete at everything, and we're going to, you talk about that dog mentality or other things. What we came up with this year was that, and I know this upsets you LeBron James fans, you have no idea, man. Okay, we want that Michael Jordan mentality, that we're going to do whatever it takes to be the best.
One of the 10 returning starters on offense is Jake Pugh, a quarterback who put together a spectacular season last fall and earned PAC Offensive Player of the Year honors. He's obviously a special player, but talk about Jake's development as a leader for the offense and how he has evolved during his time at W&J.
I give Chirp at TJ a ton of credit. We got him. He already had this huge football IQ, but his uncle's the offensive coordinator for the Oakland Raiders. I mean, he got this IQ of football that when he got to W&J, he read a 4-vert in our scrimmage against Mount Union, and I'm like, I didn't teach him that. And in all honesty, I love TJ kids. I guarantee you Chirp didn't teach him that. He knew that coming in. So he's got this football IQ. He also has a toughness. We kind of let him go. He makes throws where he's running to his right and throwing across his body for a big gain. He can make honestly, maybe one of our best play calls this year should be, go ahead, you call it. Okay, you just run around there and very similar to a kid we had named Pete Coughlin a while ago. That's just the way he is. And I think he is returning player of the year, unbelievable stats, all region quarterback. I think he can get better. And I think he would say that too. You look at our season last year, he turned the ball over in the 2 games that we lost, and the other team didn't. And I think that's something that will drive him, and I think that his best football is ahead of him.
One of your 8 returning starters on defense is Justin Johns, who you brought with you today. Justin's put together a stellar career thus far at W&J. How will new defensive coordinator Phil Bobich and that unit lean on a player like him to be successful this fall?
Well, Justin's a 5th-year senior, and we have a couple of them, I think, or 2 or 3, and not as many as some others, but we'll take him because he's been in some big games, and understands what it feels like to lose that big game, and he's quiet. I'm very, very interested to see how he speaks here in the next 5 minutes, because he is so quiet. He doesn't say a whole lot, on the field. So I think it's more of a lead by example. He comes from a great family. Both his brothers played for me. Unfortunately, their careers were cut short by injury. He has 2 great parents. So, he's obviously, we'd like to take credit for that, but that was installed. All those characteristics that make him a great person and a great player were installed in him before he got to W&J. So I'm just excited that he decided to come back, because it was kind of a, we got some big NLI money to get him back here, right? We give you that $5 at Sheets. So he's back with our program. We're excited that he's back, and I'm looking forward to him to have a great senior year.
Thank you, Coach. And now we'll have a few questions for Justin. Kind of adding on to that question, this is year number 5 with the W&J program, Justin. Outside of the $5 at Sheets, what went into your decision to return for the extra season this fall?
I think it was simply I just wasn't ready to be done yet. I wasn't very satisfied with how the year ended last year, both on an individual standpoint and as a defensive unit. I think we took a step back from 2022 to 2023, and I take a large responsibility for that. I think I failed as a leader and just as a player. I got to be better communicating between the secondary to the linebackers and the linebackers to the defensive line. And I just know I'm better. I know I can be better, and I just want to show that this year.
Former defensive coordinator Vince LeVar moved on to a head coaching opportunity at Hampden-Sydney. How's the transition been with Phil Bobich being promoted to defensive coordinator, and what are some skills that make Coach Bobich great to work with as a defensive player?
Well, first, Coach LeVar was one of the most brightest coaches I've ever had the pleasure of playing under, and I wish him the best at his new head coaching position. But I have all the confidence in the world in Coach Bobich. He was my position coach for the last 4 years. He's got a great supporting staff underneath him. And we spent this last spring really building a strong, cohesive defense that was really competitive. And I think we put up a good fight against the offense this spring. And I'm really excited to see what we're able to do this fall.
Okay. Over the past 2 seasons, you've accounted for 198 tackles. You have a chance to finish your career among the top tacklers in W&J football history. What has allowed you to make such an impact during your time at W&J?
I think a big part of that is the players I'm surrounded with at other positions, and then, for the last couple of years who I've been able to play with at my position as well. So like Sean Doran and Tanner Volpatti were both tremendous players at that position as well. And, Dawson Dietz and Avery Keith and his brother Alex Keith 2 years ago and the year before that. It really helps to have players like that surrounded by you, and really makes you look a lot better than you may actually be.
So you've already started this next question. As the defensive unit boasts several standout players, including all PAC first-teamers Dawson Dietz and Alex Keith. What do those guys do so well in front of you that frees you up to do your job in the middle?
Well, for Dawson Dietz, if he's not making the play himself, he's eating up at least 2 blocks, which makes it easy for me to get over the top and make a play. And as far as Avery Keith, if he's not making the play, like I just said, he's sending it back in for me to make the play, which makes it really easy for me or Keaton at the inside to go and make that play.
Okay. Thank you, Justin, and thanks again to Coach Sirianni. The Presidents start the 2024 season with a home game in Washington versus St. Vincent College on September 7th. Head coach Mike Sirianni and linebacker Justin Johns.